Welcome to episode 4 on Steam's Cheapest Games, a series in which I work my way through the cheapest games on Steam in the hopes that I find some bargain bin gems. It's kind of a themed series of reviews. This time we're looking at a top-down shmup by the name of Revolution Ace. It's about as traditional as they come, and the influence of titles like Raptor with the RPG-style upgrade system is clear. The story follows a group of elite pilots called the Avenger Combat Eagles, or ACE for short, as they battle an endless army of automated war machines which stopped responding to all commands. Without specific instructions, they continue fighting anything they encounter. Naturally, it falls into your hands to destroy the threat and save civilization. I'll start off with the controls, which are pretty simple. You have the standard WASD setup, and the shooting is all controlled with the mouse. Left click shoots at air units, right click shoots at ground units, and the middle mouse fires your super weapon. Now in theory this all sounds sensible, but it does open up some problems when you use weapons that can fire at both ground units and air units. This is because shooting at air units seems to take priority and can leave you in some pretty sticky situations. And this is because ground units can provide just as much of a threat as the air units do, and from what I could tell they seem to have a much higher HP pool, but this could just be that I equipped my ship with weapons better suited to dogfights. From memory, the way previous games like this I've played get around this is simply by not separating air and ground attacks in this way. Generally it's just dictated by the type of weapon being used, and I would tend to prefer this method. Having said all of this, Revolution Ace, unlike a lot of the other games I've played like this, is fully 3D, and this is the primary use of this fact, as you can see the shots angling down to the ground, and equally there is a chance to dodge incoming shots coming up from the ground. But this mechanic does seem to appear arbitrarily throughout the game. The actual fighting mechanics are pretty solid, nothing really feels too different. You get the usual array of weapons to choose from, with some gaining little quirks. You have bullet, missile, plasma and beam style weapons, but I like that some of them have burst fire which you need to build into your movement patterns. As with any game of this type, positioning is critical, and picking your targets carefully is also crucial. It's pointless trying to kill everything if you know fully well you don't have the firepower to do so. This means making quick decisions on what you can and can't kill, and how much of a threat they are to you. Most of the ships disappear once they leave the screen, with the exception of those surrounded with a yellow haze. This means that they will come back again, and of course the end bosses for the levels also don't leave. These are kill or be killed situations. Difficulty wise, it's certainly challenging enough. I started out on normal but quickly felt overwhelmed and had to switch on to easy about 6 levels in. This is mainly to do with the quantity of units being thrown at you and the number of projectiles it results in. Even if you're losing a level over and over again, this doesn't stop the progression of the game, which is a nice bonus, as it uses a levelling up system which unlocks weapon slots on your ship, perks to increase the power of your weaponry, and unlocks new weaponry to throw onto your ship as well. It would be possible to grind your way through, but after trying the same level about 6 times, I just gave in and dropped it down. But this indicates that the game is suited to both types of player, those looking for a real challenge and also those looking for a more casual gaming experience. The graphics aren't fantastic, but they're good enough for what's happening on the screen, and it can look a little odd when you're hovering over a building and shooting at it, but it doesn't really matter, and the sound effects are again good enough. It ran totally bug-free and took 3.5 hours to complete the campaign once all the way through. And given that there's also +1 modes, achievements, leaderboards and on and offline multiplayer options, there's more than enough game here. I have to say that while it's not perfect by a long shot, it doesn't really leave me with much to complain about. You can tell it's a budget title, but it's fun, frantic and has more than enough longevity. Sure, it frustrated me from time to time, but that's mainly because bullet hell games aren't my forte. The biggest problem I have with this game is simply that it feels like it's trying to replicate Raptor, a game which I have fond memories of and actually played through quite recently. And while it might just be the rose-tinted effect, I much prefer Raptor. But this series ignores all of that and focuses simply on getting good, fun games for cheap prices. And I have to say that Revolution Ace succeeds on that front. If you've never played a game like this before, it's a perfect entry point as it costs nothing and gives you a taste of what you're getting yourself in for. 15p well spent, and 64p into the series, it's looking pretty positive. Sure, you can get better games for more money, but budget gaming seems to be alive and well. See you next time.